This is Man Dan coming to you from the Sky Marshal Cup, and the war is over. We didn't play it out to the end, but it was called in the favor of the Comintern, so it was sort of a overtime tiebreaker. So I think it was near enough to a tie between the Comintern and the Axis, but we agreed at the start of this tournament that if the Comintern is in the tie, they win, because in this version they are hard to play. They don't have access to a lot of victory points, and they're kind of just stuck. So what happened? I think we did okay. The Germans, I think, got bogged down in taking Paris. They lost 3 or so tanks to target selects, and the British landed early, and that really gave the Russians a large amount of time to build up heavy tanks and improve factories. We got those just in time for our big fire sale. Improved factories, that is. So I ended up with a large mobile strike force of heavy tanks and T-34s, real cost-effective units. Yeah, what else? In the south, we sort of, made our way slowly through Turkey and have begun to push up through Bulgaria. In the north, the Germans have landed, trying to cut us off from the capital of Finland, but we're struggling to hold on to it because that's a victory point for us. I think in the last 6 turns, I was at stage 0 for strategic rockets, but I got 4 for 4, and that pulled that victory objective out of my butt. And in the east, I'm starting to get overrun, but just trying to deny the Japanese victory points. We had designs on the Kuril Islands once with this transport, but that was reinforced just in time, so I was not able to take it. Very disappointed. And despite that we're surrounded by Japanese, the CCP are holed up in Nanking, so we're holding on to that victory point. And I think I'm going to pass it over to Table Stuka, if I can find them, because I think they had a couple things to say about their table. I didn't watch it much, but I think here the Allies were able to squeak out a victory. 10 points to the Axis 9.
Axis 4.
Oh, the Axis 4 is Comintern 9. So I'm going to pass it over to FeckingWrecked, and he's going to give us some commentary.
FeckingWrecked, or Commander Wrecked here. Yeah, really interesting game. It was very close, actually, up until, I want to say, around 14-15. It was at one point tied 6-6-6, and it really looked like it could go either way. Really unique game. So this is kind of interesting. If I'm not mistaken, it happened on the other table as well. Civil War never finished. Pretty interesting strategy. There's a point where sometimes neither side wants to win, as kind of silly as it sounds. You got to really kind of watch your back for the Allies if you win, depending on what side you're on. If you're ahead, sometimes it's just better no one has it. Also interesting game. This is a first for me. Italy, as you can see, has almost all of Africa. Italian player did really well, I felt. But sadly, the 2 points were not enough. Japan also assisted down in South Africa. It was a kooky time down in South Africa. Probably the most action I've ever seen down here, in fact, because he repelled 2 amphibious assaults, and at one point in time, the French were posed to come take it, and Italy said, no thank you, that belongs to my Japanese friends, kept it. Not a ton of action in the Middle East. Germans did get in, but Iran actually stayed neutral. Hilltop Pillbox, man of his word, never went into Iran. Helped the Allies in that sense. That was definitely appreciated and needed. A lot of action in India. Really, the whole table. This whole table. There's so many epic little moments here. Also, big one. Now, got a little flack for this, but made a deal with the devil, the communists, at one point in time. If you ask how all this happened, and none of this is in Japanese hands, the communists actually came in, snagged West Timor, which put the Allies up quite a few points. And the deal was some Lend-Lease, and the Allies sent them quite a bit. So definitely made up for it. Also noteworthy, KMT went major, and they went major fairly early, I believe. I don't recall. I want to say it was round 9 or 10, actually. They ended up going major, and they got a little help from the CCP, giving them a Warlord on accident when they rolled a 12 on influence. But other than that, we have another unique part of this game. A lot of Warlords untouched. Yunnan never went into. Roughly about half of China, just basically Western China. No action there ever this entire game. Japan did pretty well, but sadly, this is somewhat a game of numbers, and you just can't stop fate when the Allies come in with that much money, that much heavy hitters. Had quite a bit of battleships here. This isn't even all of them that were built. There's quite a bit more, and the onslaught was just too much. Japan put up a really good fight, but it's really hard to get in. Comintern also incredibly successful. If it wasn't for just a couple of key moves by the Allies, the Comintern would have ran away with this game. I think. I firmly believe they could have won this game. Europe, another look at that. Again, Italy did very well, but did get bombed. Paris was liberated and turned into a monster because of Lend-Lease, and Germany not being able to really push in due to the fact that they had to behave themselves. Russia, although they promised to stop at Warsaw and Romania, you had to keep them honest a little bit and make sure you had forces that could counter in case they tried to come after him. So that pretty much wraps up the whole game. Yeah, it was a really good time. Glad I got to play. Looking forward, hoping to get to do it next year. Thanks.
And all right, thanks for that. And this is Madman Dan signing off. Sizer, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, fuck you, Joel.
He says, fuck, well, we'll bleep that out. Either way, hope everyone's had a good time watching these videos, not just by me, but Sky Marshal and General Hand Grenade. And I'll hope to see you all next year. Bye.
Bring beer.